Hi, children. I sent you one video earlier. It's about calculating the relative atomic mass of boron. And I would explain one more question of a similar kind. You have this in the tube number 4. However, you can see the complete question on the screen. So even if you don't have the tube, you can follow this. So this question is about calculating the relative atomic mass of chlorine. According to how the question shows, now this is having two isotopes. One has the mass number 35. The other one has mass number 37. And if you think about their percentage values, chlorine 35 has a percentage of 77.78. Chlorine 37 has an availability of 22.22. Now, if you take this into a diagram like this, if this rectangle shows 100% of chlorine atoms, the bigger part on the left-hand side is, let's say, 77.78, and the other part is 22.2. Now, this 77.78 comprises of chlorine 35. 22.22 is for chlorine 37. You know, relative atomic mass is the average mass of an atom of an element. There's one more thing to add into that. Without that, we have to see, something like compared to the 1/12 mass of C12 isotope also should be given. But here, for this purpose of explaining what exactly the calculation looks like, I just gave the average mass of an atom of an element is known as the relative atomic mass. You should know this formula. Relative atomic mass is equal to total mass of all the atoms in the sample divided by total number of atoms. You must remember that from the previous video also. If you go a bit further, we can think about how these values are going to be added into this. Let's say how we are going to get the mass of individual isotopes. Relative atomic mass is equal to, now see, 77.78 into 35. It is because 77.78% of this sample is chlorine 35. Similarly, now the mass of chlorine 35 also can be calculated this way. 22.22 into 37. That's the total mass of chlorine 37 atoms. When you add them together, you get a summation. You divide that by 100 to get the relative atomic mass. You can do this calculation. Okay, I drew a line, vertical line to separate the next part of the calculation. So now the relative atomic mass is going to be 2702.3. That means the addition of the multiplication of 77.78 and 35. Plus, when you multiply 22.22 by 37, we get 822.14. Please use a calculator and get the value. That whole thing has to be divided by. When you use a calculator and get the answer, you get something like 35.4444. That 4 recurs. But the question is asking you to give your final answer in 1 decimal place. Therefore, what I can do is I reduce it 35.4444 to 35 point. It should not be 5, 35 point. And this should be double underline. I think you have understood what this calculation is. It's a very, very simple calculation, very much similar to the earlier relative atomic mass calculation, but the method how the question has come to is slightly different, but the same content. Anyone can understand this sort of simple calculations. I hope you understood very well. Read this more. Try to get the idea better and practice it. Thank you very much for watching this.